What is up guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon video, and today we are talking about the Ultra Beasts once again. This video will include the extra Ultra Beasts we have learned about from the leaks from the data mine, so please, if you're avoiding that, you might want to click off the video now. But for today, we are going to be talking about the Ultra Beasts that we actually have seen from the demo data mine, and all of them generally, and talk about their association to the planets in our solar system. Now, initially you might think, oh great, cool. This is actually a really interesting video. I had loads of fun doing all the research for it and linking up all the Ultra Beasts to the planets, and maybe finding out some stuff about the story. So before we go on, we'll actually look at the Ultra Beasts we have seen so far. So here are all of our Ultra Beasts. Obviously we have UBO1 and the two UBO2s, Absorption and Beauty, on the right hand side. But then we have these 5 other Ultra Beasts that we found out about as a result of the demo data mine. To make this video a bit easier, so instead of me having to say, oh, the crab thing or the green thing, I'm going to give them names, just brief names, just numbers basically. So obviously the 3 we've seen so far are UBO1, UBO2A and UBO2B. Then this wiry electric one is going to be UBO3. This green bamboo one is going to be UBO4. The origami one is going to be UBO5. The scary crab one is going to be UBO6. And then finally the deadly one is going to be UBO7, and that's hopefully what I'll remember to refer to them as throughout the video. So let's take a look at the planets in our solar system. So of course here is our lovely solar system. We have the Sun, of course, then we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. A total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 planets in here. Obviously we have the Sun as well, which isn't a planet, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves though. So we're going to go from left to right, talk about each planet, and generally for this, obviously figuring out what the link from a planet to a Pokemon or also to an Ultra Beast. It's not as simple as saying, oh, that Ultra Beast looks like that planet, because most of the planets just look like huge rocks, so that's not really going to work. So we look more at how the planets actually are represented in mostly astrology. So in astrology, obviously we have the different symbols like Cancer, Mars. Well, not Mars, but you guys get the idea. They link up, so each of the planets generally links up to one of the symbols there, and there's loads of other stuff as well. So some of the things we'll go through is what god is represented in Greek mythology, because that's generally what they're named after. We talk about medicine links as well, and then generally what the planets represent in astrology, as well as some other things as well you'll see as we go through. So of course we'll start off with Mercury. So Mercury, the god that represents Mercury, is of course Mercury, the Roman god, not necessarily Greek, just could be any mythology really here. But we have Mercury, who is the messenger of the gods, who is very fast, he's swift, he's got some good speed on him. So Mercury, that's the god there. In terms of other things about Mercury, we also have, it's related in terms of medicine to the nervous system, the brain, respiratory system, thyroid, as well as the sense organs. So a few things there, but generally nervous system and the brain, so that sort of thing there. And then, in terms of actually, not for all of these planets, for most of them we have an element that represents it. So, for example, in Chinese astrology, Mercury's element is water, so it relates into things there. So, looking at these 3 things, we have Mercury, the messenger, we have the nervous system, and we have the element water. There are 2 Ultra Beasts I could see related to this planet. The first is obviously UBO1, simply because nervous system, it has a design obviously similar to a jellyfish, but its tentacles, I suppose you can call them, and as well as its head, do look a lot, like they can be related to the nervous system and the brain indeed. And then we have the element of water, which of course it's a jellyfish, there's links in there. But it could also be UBO5, and this is the origami one of course, because it looks very fast, this Ultra Beast. It looks like it'd be speeding around, zipping around, and as we heard, Mercury was the messenger of the gods, and I could definitely see this Ultra Beast being a messenger, being very fast, zipping back and forwards. There are 2 possibilities there. Then if we move on to the second planet, Venus. Now Venus is a god of Roman mythology, is of course Venus, who is the goddess of love and beauty. You might see where we're going with this. In terms of medicine, it's actually related mostly to the veins, as well as throat, kidneys, but veins is the main thing I would say. And then in terms of element, in Chinese astrology again, it's associated with the element of metal, so not strictly an element, but you guys get the idea. So what could this be? Well, we talk about beauty, so UBO2 beauty would be a very good guess to associate with this planet, since the planet's god is literally beauty, and the name is literally beauty here. So I think that would be a very good matchup there. So that's more possibilities there. There's not too much extra to say about Venus. Moving on then, we're actually not going to go to Mars straight away. We're going to take a look at our own planet, which of course is Earth. Now, we've spoken about the Ultra Beast already representing planets here, but we haven't thought about our own planet, because why would an Ultra Beast represent our planet, since our planet is, ourselves? Obviously you can link them up there, but I suppose you could do it. But as we have spoken about in several different sort of places, Zygarde could be the representative of Earth, basically. We know Zygarde is making an appearance in Sun and Moon. We know it's going to play a reasonably big part in the story, maybe a post-game story, but it does indeed, appear, and we do get some sort of plot associated with it. So it's not too big of a guess to say the Ultra Beast and Zygarde might either be linked, battle it out, or be rivals, for example, or be related in some way. So we could say that Earth is represented by Zygarde. And also, by extension to this, we could then say, well, we also have two other celestial bodies, or two main celestial bodies, in the solar system we haven't actually talked about in terms of, they're not planets. We have the Sun and the Moon. And of course, these games are called Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, and we have two legendaries that represent not necessarily the Sun and the Moon themselves, but the messengers, or related basically to the Sun and the Moon. We have Solgaleo and Lunala. So it wouldn't be too big a guess to say, let's put Zygarde with Earth, Solgaleo with the Sun, Lunala with the Moon, and that's three other big celestial bodies that have had Pokemon. We assume Ultra Beasts are very similar to Pokemon, Pokemon or entities associated with them. But just a thought there for later on, and then we move on to Mars. So Mars, the god, Roman god again. Mars is the god of war as well as bloodshed, so it's a very violent god there. Nothing too overly nice, I suppose you could say. In terms of medicine, it's actually related to muscles, or the muscular system in general, as well as glands and gonads and such like that. So lovely things there. And of course we know Mars as the red planet, such as its element that's associated with it in Chinese astrology is fire. Now, looking at these three, it's not too hard to guess what Ultra Beasts we're looking at sort of associating with this, which will be UBO2 absorption. Looking at it straight away, it's got huge muscles, so definitely ticks a box there. And Mars being the god of war does link up to absorption, I would say, pretty well, since it does look like it's a very violent Pokemon. And the element of fire, while UBO2 absorption might not turn out to be a fire type, it is red, it is sort of, it's got this burning inside of it, so it might be a fire type, but it's red and fits in with the red planet of Mars there. If we then move on further out into the solar system to look at Jupiter. Now, Jupiter's quite an interesting one. We don't have too precise an answer for it. So, Jupiter, the Roman god Jupiter, was the ruler of the gods. So you would assume, or maybe this would be the ruler of the Ultra Beasts, but it doesn't really seem to fit that sort of style. We looked at these planets here, you might think, initially we might think UBO1 is Mercury, and as we go out we get, the Ultra Beasts carrying on going, but it doesn't seem to work that way. So maybe the relation of the planet themselves, like the size of the planet, isn't necessarily a relation to the strength of the Ultra Beast or the position of the Ultra Beast in the Ultra Beast ranking, if it is something like that. But Jupiter, ruler of the gods, guardian protector, his symbol is a thunderbolt or a lightning bolt, so keep that in mind for the moment. There isn't too much extra to say here in terms of medicine. There's not really sort of too big a relation there either. It's associated with the liver, pituitary gland, disposition of fats, so nothing really too you could pull out there, like nervous system or muscles. But its element is wood. Yeah, you heard me right, wood. Who knows what that means. So from these, I could pick out two possibilities for the Ultra Beast to represent this planet. The first one being UBO3, which was this electric wire Pokemon, or Ultra Beast I should say, because the Thunderbolt of Jupiter, or Thunderbolt's symbol, might fit in with it being an electric type or being related to wires and electricity in general. As well as that, the fact that the element of this planet is wood, brilliant, would link in to also being UBO4, which is this, bamboo-like, wood, bamboo, similar, bamboo-like Ultra Beast in general, because I feel like it fits the theme, I suppose, of wood. So there's two possibilities that I'm not really sold on either of them. If we then move out further into the solar system again, have a look at Saturn and its amazing rings. Again, there's not too much to go off for Saturn here. The Roman god Saturn is a god of agriculture, he's the leader of the Titans, founder of civilizations, as well as social order and such, etc, etc. Nothing too sort of poignant there. And there's nothing too poignant in terms of medicine either. There's nothing great there. It's associated with the spleen, the phlegm, the bones, maybe a few things there, but nothing too big generally. But the fact that he's the god of agriculture, as well as his element in Chinese astrology being Earth, could link me, obviously agriculture element, Earth rather, it's a fairly similar thing, links me to believe it might be this green Ultra Beast instead. Because of agriculture, when I think of agriculture, it makes me think of this, straight off the bat. It's just my own, that's what I think at least. And another thing that Jupiter, or Saturn rather, is actually related to is time. And I just get a feeling when I look at this Ultra Beast that could be something to do with time. Looking at its floating arms, I could see them being sort of structured to be like a time accounting, egg timer sort of thing. You guys get what I mean? So you can have the two arms could feed like a liquid back and forth, and obviously it could be like the flow of time, never ending sort of thing. I don't know. That's just the thing I'm getting there. And obviously agriculture, as I said, links in, I feel, to this green colouring on its body, but again, nothing too specific there, and again, nothing really else really fits with it because there's nothing that jumps out at you. But if we then move further on into the cosmos again, or the cosmos again, and look at Uranus. Now, because Uranus is not one of the old planets, it's called a modern planet because obviously the telescope allowed us to see more planets in the sky, hence we found out more about more planets. So it was discovered later on. But Uranus is linked to a Greek god, and that is Uranus, and that god is the personification of the heavens and the night sky. As well as this, astrological interpretations are also associated with new ideas, so being a modern planet, I guess it makes sense. So it's associated with discoveries, electricity, as well as democracy and sort of more modern terms. And then to add to this is what really clinched it from the Ultra Beast, this planet, medicine-wise, is associated to, wait for it, the sympathetic nervous system. Now, I didn't know what this was at first, so I'm sure a lot of you out there are thinking, what? So, the sympathetic nervous system is half of the nervous system. There are two main parts to it, one called the sympathetic and the other one a different one. The sympathetic nervous system is associated with uncontrollable action, so stuff you do without thinking, like blinking just happens, as well as catching and maybe flinching and stuff. It's not really actions you think about, you think, I've got to blink now, there we are, blinked. It's such stuff that happens, you're coded to do. This is why it links me and clinches for me that this planet will be linked to UB01. Why do I think about that? Well, first up, heavens in the night sky. UB01 could be seen as a heavenly Pokemon floating around, for example. In terms of electricity or new discoveries, UB1 seems to be the first Ultra Beast discovered, so it could be a new discovery there. But the sympathetic nervous system, being involuntary actions, the description we have of UB01 tells us that while evidence of something like a survival instinct can be observed in UB01, no one knows whether it has a will of its own or any emotions. Which sounds very much like a sympathetic nervous system. It might not have a will of its own, but it can still survive, it can still do things subconsciously, like a sympathetic nervous system. And that's what clinches that for being UB01 there. But of course we have one more planet to look at, and that is Neptune. Now of course Neptune is related to the Roman god Neptune, who's the god of the sea, ocean, etc, 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 and obviously it links into the planet's colour as well. His icon, his symbol, is the trident, of course, and it's similarly to Neptune, it's a symbol, trident is a symbol of it. That'll be important in a minute. As well as this, there aren't too many things, but Neptune is generally associated with harmony, dreams, as well as a few other things, but dreams is the main thing to think about there. But as well as this, Neptune's appearance coincided with the discovery of hypnotism. Okay, so I don't know how you guys are like, why does that make any sense? Well, it's because I believe this Ultra Beast, or this planet, will be linked to Ultra Beast UB06, the crab-like Ultra Beast. Why? Well, first, obviously based on a crab, links in with the sea nicely in Neptune. Then if you look at the top of its, its arms above its head, you can see it has two arms that have, I guess, 3 fingers on them, or 3 prongs on them, very similar to a trident. And then hypnotism, if you look in the centre of its body, in its mouth I suppose you could say, it has some circles there which look very similar to me at least to be like a hypnotism circle, I suppose is the best, a spiral. Looks very similar to that, so I think this Pokemon, or this Ultra Beast I should say, should be linked to Neptune. So let's have a review of what we got. So of course we have, let's say for Mercury, we're going to give it UB05, which is the Zippy Pokemon, a Zippy Ultra Beast, because of course it's not linked to any other ones. Obviously then, Venus rather, UB02 Beauty, because Goddess of Beauty. Let's then chuck on UB02 Absorption on Mars, because Roman God of War, muscles, etc. Then I think Saturn, we're going to have that give the green Ultra Beast to Saturn because nothing else fits with it, and such will give the wire Ultra Beast, the UBO3, to Jupiter, since its thunderbolt is the sort of the symbol there. Then Uranus, as we said, I really believe that's UBO1. And then Neptune, we have the Crab Ultra Beast, UBO6, and of course if you throw in also Zygarde, Lunala, and Solgaleo to relate the other three, we have a complete picture. Except we don't, because there is one Ultra Beast left. UBO7 is not linked to any planet, it's just sitting there on its own. So what's that about? Surely if we can't link this to a planet, and there's nothing to link it to, the whole theory falls apart. Could it possibly be linked to Earth? I wouldn't think so, it's not really an Earth-like Ultra Beast. And it just wouldn't work otherwise, because you know, if Zygarde is truly related to these things, then what the hell is it doing? But, if you might remember, there used to be another planet in our solar system, and that was of course Pluto. Now, Pluto, if we take a deeper look into it, might reveal some answers. So, Pluto is related to the Roman god Pluto, who is the god of the underworld. Now, the underworld basically being hell, and in some terms, Pluto is the equivalent of Hades, so he's almost the devil. Not quite the devil, because obviously Hades isn't the devil, you guys get the idea there. As well as this, the alchemy symbol was given to Pluto on its discovery, and as we discussed a few times before, alchemy is very linked in with the Sun and Moon. You know, starters, Solgaleo and Lunala, so it might be something to think about here. As well as this, the discovery of, but the entry in Cancer in 1913, this is a bit of a weird thing, I don't study astrology too much, but the sign in which it was later discovered coincided with World War I, and as such, Pluto is associated with nuclear bombardment, or nuclear armament, nuclear weapons basically. And that's a very nasty thing, so linking it with the god of the underworld, nuclear weapons, is not a very nice association to this planet. But looking at the Ultra Beast, UBO7, it doesn't look like a very nice Ultra Beast. It looks like it might be the most evil of them, you know, it's got, you know, pretty much just completely black coloured, it's got spikes all over it, it just doesn't look like it would be a very nice Ultra Beast to find yourself facing off against. So if we go back to the whole picture, throw those Ultra Beasts in, and then if we link UBO7 to Pluto, we have a complete picture then. Yes, Pluto is not necessarily a planet anymore, but it could still be a link in to the solar system, I suppose, of Ultra Beasts and of course the Pokemon there. So what does this mean? Are Ultra Beasts, is their backstory going to be they've come from other planets? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to find out that each of these Ultra Beasts is, you know, another worldly Pokemon. It's not going to be the case, I don't think at least. But they are nice tie-ins and nicer links, and possibly reveal a bit more about what each Ultra Beast might be like in terms of, I guess, personality, or whether some will be truly evil, whether some will just be here to do some stuff, or, you know, there might be other reasons, who knows exactly. But it also builds in some lore with Zygarde, as well as Solgaleo and Lunala, and possibly hinting that they are all related in some way, and maybe Zygarde and or Solgaleo and Lunala may be required to stop the invasion of these Ultra Beasts. Do let me know what you think about this down below, guys. Can you see any planets that you might want to switch around in terms of Ultra Beast associations? And let me know if you think this is gonna, you know, if you like the theme as well, because obviously Pokemon do like to do some funky themes with these sort of things. And let me know if you think there'll be any impact on the plot or the relation between these Ultra Beasts and Pokemon down below in the comment section. But this is going to be it for today, so I shall be seeing you next time. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Goodbye, my friends.